Hi, and welcome to day 16 of 24 Days Whiskey and Security and Christmas. So today, day 16. Let's see what we got. We've got Lee with me again from BCS, and he's back on the whiskey. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he copes after on another day. So today I've got Scallywag, blended malt Scotch whiskey, 46%. Oh, okay.
46.
Well, that smells nice. It smells nice. Again, I'll be aboard the Swedish whiskey on day 2, Mac. Buy that.
You're going to buy a bottle of that, aren't you?
I'm definitely going to buy a bottle, if not shares in the company. So, yeah. So, Lee, we're talking about training today.
Yes.
So, what's your thoughts on training?
Training is a really big part of it's part of any company, really, not just training your member of staff to do the person's job, but cyber training is probably one of the biggest not preventative measure. I like to think of security in layers, and I tell people like a really big onion, and user training is a really thick layer of onion, because I think it's really key and critical in getting sort of end users to understand their role.
So I've got. I see if I can find it, because I've got a great picture here. Actually, just bear with me a second. Which is from an event we did a little while back. I think it was around GDPR events.
There is so much user training to do.
There is, yeah. Seminar. See if I've got it. God, they keep moving the slides around. I think this is it. Let's see if I can share the screen quickly, because it sort of typifies, what it's all about. Here we go. Let me just share this. Share the screen. It'll only be for a couple of seconds. Screen 2. You seen this one before, Lee?
I have not.
So this is where training comes in. You can have all the firewall, the encryption, the antivirus, and everything. Actually, you've got Dave in the other corner in the boxing ring, and because he hasn't been trained properly or he doesn't understand, he's going to win, right? always wins. So I just find that one really interesting and quite funny. That it's just a people underestimate training, especially in the SME world.
That's 100%. And people, I don't need to know that, or I just ask you, or no, it's quite a lot more important than that. It's training is just being able to identify a spam email, or I had one recently. Customer called up. I've had BT on the phone saying they want to get on this and do that, but I didn't let them. That's bad, isn't it? That was someone trying to get into our systems.
Yeah.
I was like, great.
Well done.
That's really great. That's
A, well done for saying no, right? But also B, well done for telling someone about it.
Yes, and that's the hard part. Is so many people are too scared to say, "What do you think of this?" We use Dave. Dave, what do you think of this? As in, I know it's a bit harder from remote working, but one big part of training is ask someone. If you don't know, ask.
I can't remember the exact stat, but there was a stat I saw where people were saying, they'd done a survey of, I think it was business owners or employees, where I'm just seeing if it's in this slide deck, because I haven't seen that stat for a while, where it was around the fact that actually 80% have done something silly. I clicked on something that they knew was malicious or something like that, and then there's a stat on how many people reported it.
But it was a lot lower.
A lot lower, and it was quite scary. Like they know. Was it? No, I can't see it. But yeah, it was a lot lower, and you just sort of go, well, you know that was spam, that was malicious or something, and you haven't said anything.
So I did some live webinars recently, and and we were talking about training, and one of the big things I stressed was, if you've done something, please just call someone, your line manager, even if you're a bit embarrassed. Tell someone so that someone else can deal with it. And when the IT department phones up, just be honest.
Yeah,
we're not here to catch you out.
No.
As in, did you click it? Well, did you click it? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, I'll click it then because you've already clicked it, and then we can either see or whatever.
Yeah.
We're obviously trained in dealing with malicious links, and we know if things start running in the background or things like that. But if they've already clicked it, we had one, I've clicked it and I've said yes, and I've said yes, and they asked me if I was sure, and I said yes again. That was interesting.
Yeah, but look. So what I would say with anything with this, my experience is that it's really busy people that get caught out, with those sort of things. And so that's where the training kicks in. Actually, you want it almost to become a bit like second nature. That makes them stop and pause and think. Where what it's like when you learn to drive. You get out of the car and you're knackered because you've been so tense holding the wheel mentally strained. You're thinking about your gear changes and your clutch and everything like that. 3 weeks after you passed your test, you go, how did I get home? It's second nature, right? You check your blind spots, you do this, you do that. And that's where security training and training in general, whatever aspect of a job it is, you don't want someone straining away working out how can I do a pivot table in Excel versus you don't want someone clicking on a link and not thinking about it either. You want to help your employees, you want to help people you work with to work better, right?
So I'm working on a way that hopefully in the new year that will make, so especially the cyber side of things, a bit more constant.
Yeah.
Rather than I watched a video 5 years ago. This is going to be sort of a bit more constant and more sort of really small chunks to sort of keep that. I mean, and if you get things like MFA, it's another reminder of why you're doing something. We mentioned Cyber Essentials the other day. Now, I know that as part of Cyber Essentials, when you download something from the internet, rather than just it opening up, it says, "Hey, this came from the internet. You've seen the box. This has come from the internet. Are you sure?" And you just reminded me of something when you said that trigger, about just that second thought, that doubt. Because I was listening to a webinar recently about humans being the weakest link and how we shouldn't perceive them to be in the weakest link, even if they are or they aren't. We should. It's about, why do they do? You could look at the thing for ages, and I've just sent someone £50,000 because the invoice they told me to, and for some, it's apparently it's human nature that literally the second after they've pressed send, it becomes clear that they've probably done something they shouldn't have done. And they could have looked at it, for an hour before, and as soon as they press send, they've gone, I think I've done something bad. Apparently, it was the Simpsons and something else. I can't remember the exact terminology, but apparently it's human nature. Why?
I suppose that's from the throwing the spear back in the olden days. You want to know whether you've got to run in the other direction because you haven't killed that wildebeest that's going to come at you, right? I'm assuming, I'm making that up, but I'm assuming it's that sort of thing.
But training is a heavy part of everyone's day to day, and it shouldn't be overlooked. And trying to get sort of higher ups also to take training as well, because they're constantly being targeted by people.
More so than anyone else, right? It's really interesting because the stats are on all this stuff. It's something like 95%, 98% of the attacks a business has in a year are untargeted,
Yes.
but 2% are. 2% are much more likely to work because they are targeted. But if they are targeted, they're going after high-level people. You know, generally.
Yes, I know. I've dealt with two
you know,
times.
it's a bit like recruitment agencies. You know, I get so many more calls from a recruitment agency because I'm a director of a company than I was when I was the service desk manager. So you know, it's a nature of where you're getting to, and I've got busier. So guess what? I haven't done as much training.
Yep.
So you know, it is even an issue for me. And what I would say, sort of a couple of tips I would give on this would be, you know, practical tips we can give people right now is, if there's a call to action in an email, got to do this, otherwise this will stop. Pay this invoice because otherwise this will end. If
there's normally a sense of urgency,
yeah. If there's a sense of urgency and there's a call to action and a link, and you're not sure, don't click the link. Google it. Call the number you have saved in your phone system, something like that.
And if it involves money, I would normally say call the other party.
Correct.
Because you know their voice more than likely.
Yeah.
You could authenticate that way.
Yeah. But again, don't look at the phone number on the email that's just come through.
If you've got PayPal, go to your PayPal favorites.
Yeah.
Google PayPal. Google actually, they started an initiative. I think that's about 3 or 4 years ago, where they were really fighting to get, if you were looking for PayPal, that PayPal, the correct PayPal, would always be at the top.
Yeah.
I think they made a big sort of song and dance about it, and I think it's done okay.
Yeah. You know, so that's one practical tip, and then the other practical tip is your IT company will never ask you for your password. You know, and certainly we don't. So I'm assuming BCS would never ask, you know, an end user for a password. And those are two great things. If you can keep those two things in mind, you've done something. You've learned something today. We've done some training for them. Have you got any tips you would have for anyone?
No. You stole my one. You stole my. I often say, if you don't know, ask. That is a really big tip. Really, that goes so far in helping, because I often, I'll often finish off my ticket with, if it's something that's a user training sort of ticket, I will educate them and I'll show them how to do it, rather than just do it for them. Again, because someone didn't know, they asked us, and we helped them understand. I do like educating people. But if you don't know, ask. That's always the best way, because the super urgent thing probably isn't super urgent.
Yeah.
And if it is super urgent, you're probably already aware of it in other aspects anyway. We find all too many people being targeted: accounts, directors, CEOs. I've dealt with at least 2 attacks recently.
I'm assuming, you know, I'm not expecting you to name names. I'll say this first. We have had a couple of clients that have fallen for these, and it's a real what's the way of putting it? It's a real. It's something they seem to be ashamed of, but actually they shouldn't be ashamed. They should be talking about it internally. They should be talking about it elsewhere. But it does happen, and you know the guy.
Compromised accounts do happen. Yep.
Yeah.
That's normally the quickest way these things happen.
Yeah. You know, what I would say is, you know, the people that clicked on the link that gave you information, I know them very well, our side, and they're very clever, smart, streetwise even people. But it just so happened, you know, the person was doing 5, 6, 10 different things that day, and got caught out by it. And you know, it's a very you know, people shouldn't be ashamed of doing it. They should actually go, look, I was busy. I was really busy. I didn't mean to click on it. how can we learn from this, or what do we need to do?
How can we make it better? Because
yeah,
that's all the ICO want. So if you had a data breach, the ICO, an email account breach isn't the highest priority for the ICO. Yes, data possibly could have breached because of you do probably have sensitive information in your inboxes. They asked the question, what happened? You say an email account got compromised.
Yeah.
I think one of the last ones is, what are you going to do in the future to sort of curb this or stop this happening again?
Yeah.
And the normal answer is MFA, for multi-factor authentication.
Yeah.
But life's all about learning.
Yeah.
Make mistakes, get up, keep going. Sometimes they cost a bit of money. Sometimes, if you're unlucky.
Sometimes they don't. Yeah. So I'm just trying to find one, find a spam message, because I just thought it was a brilliant one that I'd seen recently.
What, really legitimate?
Looked really legitimate, yeah. You know what? I cannot find the original one.
Well, you've got the new ones nowadays, social engineering, that they're emailing you with no links, nothing like this. They know you're a solicitors. I'd like to buy this property. Here's my, what are your fees? So you go back and say, here's our fees for this, and when would you like to buy the property? Right, I'd like to buy the property on this one. It's at this address.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Right, send me your proof of money.
Yeah.
And then by that stage, you've already created a rapport with the person. This doesn't seem dodgy or fishy at all. And then they send you a PDF that's encrypted because it's got sensitive data. So you go back and say, I can't open this. It's got sensitive data. It's encrypted. I need a password. Oh yeah, you just need to type in your Microsoft username and password, and you'll be able to get access to prove that I can afford this house.
Which is actually a legit way of accessing some data.
Social engineering at its finest.
Yeah.
It's they're getting smarter.
Yeah. So this was an interesting one I got. So you got targeted tools at manager. So I didn't see that. It's only because I forwarded the message that you'll see in my forwarded message. So all it came was with Agile.co.uk Teams, and it was for a board meeting, 2020, 6 members, right? And I went, that is so smart.
You need to forward me that so I can use that for training. So where was the giveaway, the hyperlink?
Well, number one is, if anyone was going to set up something like this, it would have been me, not anyone else.
Fair enough.
So initially,
wrong person to target.
Also, the email address is a legit email address, but that doesn't appear anywhere.
So that's like an internal alias or something like that.
It's an internal alias, but it's not linked to my account. I've used it in very few places, so I can probably track down where I've used that one. And then I hovered over the hyperlink, and guess what?
Oh, Google.
And a Google.
Yeah.
So, but again, call to action: accept Microsoft Teams, right? Director, board meeting 2020. Seems
Microsoft
legit.
artwork. Yeah.
Microsoft artwork.
There is some ATPs. Some of the ATP stuff nowadays can sort of go back to, say, if you're trying to spoof Avagio.co.uk, and you've got your logo or our logo for BCS, because I know our Pantone colours, and things like that, and that they've got a specific, colour code. Some of the bits and pieces now will actually go off and check the web address where they're, they'll check their reputation. They could check colours, and if it matches the colours in their signatures and things like that, they're getting pretty clever.
But I've seen that where it's like, picture of a cat, right? You see this cute picture of a cat, because it's always cats, right? Because everyone likes a cat on the internet, apparently.
I'd done a brand new machine. I went onto youtube.co.uk, was never signed into, and literally the top 3 videos were cats.
Yeah.
On an unbranded account, an IP address. It was just okay.
But actually, they send out 5,000 of these emails about click on this picture of a cat, and then the record behind it where it points to, they flip 5 hours later. So they send it at 10 o'clock at night, and at 6 o'clock in the morning they flip the page, but it's not a picture of a cat now, because all they're doing is following these ATPs, because the ATPs are scanning this on the way in and going, is that actually a picture of a cat? And it goes, oh yeah, that looks like a picture of a cat, so we'll let that through, right? But in the morning, it's not. It's a a dodgy link to something else, and it's fooled. Time bomb. It's fooled those things. So it's not saying you shouldn't have it because of that. It's a case of you still got to be wary, even if you have got
layers.
Stuff. Layers. There's a great one about bulletproof glass. We use that analogy when we're talking about layers. A single pane of glass will let a bullet through, but actually, so you want to layer it up.
Okay.
And there's a great video on YouTube of someone testing bulletproof glass, and it's really interesting. You want those layers, right? If you're sat in that car behind bulletproof glass, you want those layers to protect you. So you need it.
Yeah.
Cool. We could talk for ages. We had a quick chat beforehand, and we've sort of gone off on a complete tangent, and we could bring it back to that. But I would say, leaving people wanting more, Lee. And if anyone wants to talk to Lee about what he's doing with BCS and moving that forward, give Lee a call, or Lee's team, a call. Or if you want to speak to me, if you're in our area, give me a call. But we're more than happy to have a chat with pretty much anyone about security or anything. So thank you very much, Lee. Is this the last time I'm seeing you? Because you're off next week, aren't you? I think
I'm off from tomorrow till the new year. So this will be the last time.
Brilliant.
I'm happy to work together with you in the future on anything else.
No, thank you very much. Lee.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah. All the best. Have a good Christmas and New Year, and see you then.
And you, Liam. Speak to you later.